Welcome again to the English Mystic Podcast. Today I am joined by Anna Torlen, writer, creative, and a woman with one foot in the modern world and the other in the mystical landscape of dragon paths and sacred sites. On her blog, Memories and Visions, Anna shares her unfolding journey through meditation, dreams, symbolism, and the kind of inner experiences that do not politely fit inside a spreadsheet. Anna is also the author of Dragons of the Stone Circle, a story that weaves dragons, Winchester Cathedral, and a doorway into another dimension, with unicorns, owls, time and space, and a very real human theme of gratitude and transformation. In this conversation today, we're going to explore dragon lines, earth energies, including the work of Hamish Miller and Paul Broadhurst, known for mapping and discussing the Michael and Mary lines. So if you have ever wondered whether the landscape can be read like a living myth, you are in exactly the right place. Anna, welcome to the English Mystic Podcast. How are you today?
I'm great, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. Even better speaking to you. So, just for the people listening, where in the world are you?
I am in Florida.
Oh,
I'm in the tropics. It's
very
it's
nice.
very, very warm here, even in the winter. So it's quite pleasant.
Beautiful. Yeah, not like here in Devon. It's wild, wet, and windy and cold.
You know, better to stay in and be
Exactly. That's why I
cozy
got my
on,
nice woolly jumper on. Keep me nice
yeah,
and warm. All the way from
yeah,
Guernsey.
near the fire, talking about dragons.
That sounds good. Or watching the fire. I love watching the fire and the flames flicker, and you're like, oh, I saw a dragon there. Yeah.
Yes.
I've actually got a picture somewhere where we had a bonfire outside, and there's this. You can see a proper fire dragon sitting in the fire. I'll have to share that with everyone. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
the wood sometimes turns into face of like a head of a dragon.
Mm.
I've seen that with some trees.
Oh
And
wow.
actually, I was reading I think it was The Sun and the Serpent, Hamish Miller, and
Yeah.
he took a photo of Cadbury Castle, and I
Mm.
think there was or outside there was a tree. It looked a lot like a dragon, so much that he put it in the book, you know.
Good.
You can find them in the trees.
You can see them everywhere. There's a place called Durdle Door where it looks like a dragon that's drinking, and then there's a place not far from here that I went to a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking, I was thinking, there's some energy here, and I was drinking my hot chocolate outside, and I was like, yeah, you can see it. It looks like a dragon's head. It's literally the cliff, and it's been worn away, so it looks like a dragon's drinking from the sea. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and the I think it's St. Michael's Mount or the
yeah,
I think Cornwall.
yeah.
I saw another photo of the cliff, the
Hmm.
rocks, and you could see the profile of a dragon.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
must admit,
they're in
seriously,
a
I'll
lot of
check it out.
mountains.
Yeah. Cool. So,
Yeah.
a question for you. So, if anyone's meeting you for the first time, which they are,
Yes.
what's the short version of your journey through life that's brought you to this idea and understanding of dragons and visions and earth energies?
Mm. Well, I have always been an artist. I've always
Mm.
had visions, and I have visions of images through my dreams.
Yeah.
I have a dream journal. I've always kept track of my dreams. And only, I think it was about 2017, I started dreaming of dragons. I started just having like just imagery come and little inklings of why don't you start reading a book about dragons or something like, anything dragon.
Mm.
And then I started researching and I found friends in Glastonbury and during 2017. And then I started doing shamanic journeying and just I started to connect to the dragon consciousness, as I
Yeah,
call it.
it's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
Glastonbury's got some powerful energies, isn't there? Whenever I go to Glastonbury and I walk up to the tour, I always feel like there's a dragon like curled all the way round, and then its head resting its chin sort of on top of the little, castle-y thing there. And it's beautiful. And if you stand in, make you look up into it.
It's true. It's true. And I think also Hamish Miller again wrote about how there's energies that unite at the Glastonbury
Mm,
tour. The two dragons come together. And then it wasn't until later, during my 2017 introduction to Glastonbury, I didn't really know that much about Glastonbury at all, and I didn't know about the tour. So
yeah.
then my last name is Torlen, and so all my UK friends thought I maybe had something special, like a special connection to the Glastonbury tour. So it made me immediately famous, you know?
Maybe you have in a past life or something.
I think so. Well, I write in my book that Catherine's the main character in my book, that she her her mom had a visit from a wizard that
Mm,
told her that she was connected to Stonehenge calendar somehow, and that actually happened to my mom in New York. A wizard from the UK was talking. I think he was an astrologist, and he was talking about my birth, and he knew the different time. I don't know if it's like Stonehenge or he was Druid. I don't know, but it was a different time of. He had a different timetable, and he was a wizard. So
cool. So
yeah.
you mentioned book. What's this book? What's it called?
Oh, Dragons of the Stone Circle.
So what
Yeah.
inspired that? Where did that come from?
Well, I was walking one day. That's usually how it happens, and I started connecting to this tree, this magical tree in my backyard, and it's a huge banyan tree. And the
Mm,
trees in Florida are really, really wide span. The roots don't go deep, but they go really, really long, almost like India, like
yeah.
just ginormous banyan tree. And I started to connect to it where I was just talking and meditating. I just like talking to the trees. And then all of a sudden, I saw this humongous dragon appear coming down from the tree branches. And I've never had this kind of vision. I wasn't even, it didn't even take me long to realize, okay, this is like a white dragon. And it was a dragon consciousness I've never connected to. And I went home and I thought, all these dragon journeys I'm having, I really want to make a book. I want to create a book for the younger generation, for my
Yeah.
nieces. I want them to know that I have these magical gifts and they're in the family, right? My grandpa was from Norway,
Mm,
so maybe I come by it honestly, having connections with dragons. But in America and the culture here, I haven't really found that growing up much expression of it. I find it like in the UK and Norway and Europe, and so I wanted to write a book for my nieces to say, okay, to communicate, we have these abilities, and you might have them too. Like my nieces might be having these multidimensional
yeah.
experiences. Who knows? And when you're younger, you don't really have the language. How are you going to talk about it? So I thought, all right, I have these abilities. Let's make a book, very simple book. And then the words just started coming. And
Mm,
it's the same like the visions. I would wake up with a paragraph, Catherine Shea Turner, and she's in her math class and she's struggling. Like just random thoughts. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a good start to a story. Let's start writing that one down. So I just started writing, and 2021 I started writing, and I think it was like about 100 pages. Kind of just really simple.
yeah. Cool. I love it because I've written a few books and I find that they're in the ether. They're asking to be written. There's almost like they come in and they're like, if I stay for a moment and this person picks it up, then they get to write it, and if not, then it sort of goes off. I read a story once that somebody started writing a book and then gave up on it, and then someone else wrote the same book, and they were like, "That's the book I was writing," and I'm sure that's the way it is. Like you sort of maybe the dragon coming in was like, "Ah, this is a person that's receptive. Maybe if we wake her up a little bit." It's like you said, 2017. It's funny because the first dragon that came to me was in 2017. So
Yes.
2017, in theory, wasn't a powerful year. 2012 was, and blah blah blah. But that was when it came to me, my first dragon. And it's like if when you first meet a dragon, it's did you feel a bit like, am I imagining things or have I gone crazy or anything, or did you just
Oh
go, yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I thought, well, I remember one of my friends mentioned he was starting to tune into dragons, and I kind of
Mm.
laughed it off, and I'm like, oh, I hope you find the dragon's egg, and I started kind of making fun, I had no concept. I just thought, okay, yeah, those are mythological creatures we used to think about or imagine when we were younger, and the castles, right? Um, but I never thought they would be real
Mm,
and actually have like a consciousness where I would connect to and then spiritually grow. I never thought it
mm,
would be nurturing my own personal life and the way I talk to people, like the way I related.
mm,
I mean, it's given me so much gratitude and humility.
mm,
I think it's purified a lot of my thoughts and my intentions as well.
mm. Yeah, they're powerful beings, aren't they? Unfortunately, on television they're always that like the King Arthur's or someone's taking the dragon out, and it's still a case of we
Right.
think of it as that, but it's slowly changing, isn't it? Because you've got those films about teaching your dragon and the rest of it and flying with your dragon, and then you've got the series where the dragon is coming in and helping the queen. So it's becoming less that the dragon is the beast that comes in and steals the virgin and burns the village. It's shifting, isn't it? Which is beautiful to
Yes.
see.
That's what I was thinking the other day about how many stories have turned the dragon into something so harmful, and
Mm.
maybe it did burn down villages when we were back. I don't
Well, it
know. I don't.
deserved it.
Maybe that was real. There has been some documentation of some real dragons, so we don't. I don't know. But today it's almost like a bridge to come back to communicating with the earth and then the earth consciousness of like the earth becomes more aware when we become aware. And
Yeah.
I think there's been such um a like a separation between conversation with the earth. We're like I'm more interested in what's going on with with humans
Mm.
and not really communicating with the earth as if the earth had a voice. I feel like dragons give the planet a voice, maybe. It's just another way to interact with the consciousness.
Mm.
And I
Yeah,
had
it's
no
true.
idea it was there. No idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I often see dragons in the countryside. So, like I said, I see them at Glastonbury Tor. But when I was in Peru, there was like a massive mountain range, and it even had the jagged bits that you imagine on the back of a dragon. Obviously, there's feathered dragons, smooth dragons, but this was a jagged one, and I was like, that definitely looks like a dragon. And then, as you do when you go on these trips, you have some of the local plant medicines, and that opens your third eye even more. And while I was in that, I was like, okay, if it's a dragon, I'm going to ask it to say hello. So I was like, hello, dragon, are you there? And all that happened was like this eye, the size of like a huge bus, it opened slowly and just looked at me, and then
Wow.
it just shut again. It's like, okay, and all I heard was like, it's not time. I was like, oh, okay. So I think a lot of them are asleep and they're part of
Yes.
the landscape. And many of them are obviously awake and visiting us. And they're all different levels, aren't there? There's the cloud dragons, the galactic dragons, the water dragons, the fire dragons, the earth
Right.
dragons. There's so
Right.
many different types. But it's beautiful that you met the white dragon. Is it with you now? Is it with you like all the time now? Or is
I
it just
think so.
yeah?
It's interesting because when I visited the tree, it was almost like a phone call. And
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I would just open up and say, "Okay, consciousness, I'm available if anybody wants to call." And I had a different call, like the pure white dragon came in first, and
Mm,
I would just kind of telepathically communicate, and and it would tell me what's going to happen in the next days, and for me what I could do. It's almost like
Yeah.
I want you to do this and then do this. And I did it. I just followed directions. And then after that consciousness, another consciousness came in, the Dragon Council. And
Mm.
it was, and I thought, oh, I'm passing these tests. They're trusting me.
Yeah.
And now the Dragon Council is speaking to me. And then from there, it was actually in between those two, it was Vega, and they were pinkish dragons. I think it was like Vega and Lyra. And so each time I went to the tree, I would never know what consciousness would connect. And I thought, okay, they're trusting me more. I'm being I'm graduated that, and now I'm being leveled up, you
Yeah.
know. And then when I wrote the book and I followed all of those directions, um, the pearl dragons. They're different than the white rose dragons. I
Mm.
think I wrote about the white rose dragons. It the pearl dragons are different. They're I think connected more to Cambodia and Angkor Wat. I'm not going to really speak so specifically about it because I know it's a consciousness that any culture could have expressed at
Mm.
any time. But that's the new, and the pearl dragons are with me a lot. All of a sudden, they'll say, "This is how it usually goes." Um, Hello, we are the white pearl dragon consciousness. We wish to connect to you now. And then if I say yes, I'll connect. And if I say no, not now, like I gotta go do stuff, then no, you know.
That's cool. I love it. I never heard of the pearl dragons before. That's I've heard of the crystal dragons, and every time I speak to someone, I hear of a new, let's call it clan of dragons, and there's so many out there, and they all work in their own slightly different way, don't they? And assist us
Yes,
in a different
it's
way.
true. Yeah, it's like there's the Neptune, the planetary ones, the
Yeah.
elements. Yeah, this. I mean, I maybe it's like an encyclopedia we have to we have to write like a huge book of dragons
That's a good
because
idea.
they keep appearing.
Yeah. I like that idea. I've been writing about the healer dragons that have come in. I've written about 201 of them now, and there's another 300 coming in. But yeah, there's probably like you say, there's a book there, isn't there? An encyclopedia.
Yes.
Maybe get everyone to write a chapter about their dragons. So the cloud dragons, the pearl dragons, the healer dragons, the fire dragons. Everyone's got a connection to different ones. That'd be a good book. Well, maybe that's
Oh,
something we should arrange and call all the
yeah.
authors in. Everyone writes a chapter, and yeah,
I think so because it's not we're not making it up like the where we have like a movie. Sometimes we have a movie and then we can make up all the different characters. I feel like this as we evolve, there there's so much integrity with each one. That's
mm,
and the way that I understand, the way I know that it's authentic, is they'll like the consciousness when I'll telepathically hear words that I wouldn't make up or say myself, and I have to look them up. You know,
yeah,
it's like they're very well mannered, and they have a vocabulary beyond me. Beyond my everyday. Totally, yeah, awesome. You know,
yeah. I know what you mean. It's like when I say to the dragons, "What's your name?" and you hear this name, you're like, I'm not even sure how I can spell that, let alone say it. Yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, in your language, it's this, and you write it down. You're like, I'm still even not sure how to say that. Yeah, so it's interesting.
it's true.
But yeah,
It's true.
their
Do you
vocabulary is
do you
huge.
get do you get words like ahi, shielataya, like things like that? Because that's the dragon language that I get.
Yeah, I get some words that I can't write down. It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You used to say
Yes.
that, but theirs is harder
Yeah.
than that.
And
Yeah,
then they're like just short like she or shean or shay, like
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I always say it's like their stable name. We've got horses, and that they're called Fortune's favourite. Their stable name's
Uh,
Fave. you know, and it's the same thing with the dragon. It's like big long name, and their name's Bob.
It's true. It's
and,
true.
and it
Yeah, I
yeah.
I named the white dragon Arabella
Oh,
in my
that's
book.
beautiful. Oh, that's a good name like that. So the book that you've written, how much of it is like taken from complete fiction, and how much of it is taken from actually what you experience in your life? Is it like a balance?
It is. It's the 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 environment that she grows up in was the environment that I grew up in. So I
Mm,
write about what I know, right? So
yeah,
that's how I was when I was in high school or middle school.
yeah,
So that's totally true. Or I brought, I drew on real experiences. And
mm,
then the journeys to Winchester all happened. So I was
mm,
able to integrate them.
yeah,
And then she meets a vampire, and I made the vampire is very comical. I'm not really into deep dark energies. I myself don't really travel down those roads, so
yeah,
I tried to create all the white protection so much that I don't even go. But there is an energy that I interacted with when I was doing journeys, and it in the book it's very comical, but the earth energy, it was just an energy that wanted to control. It was like a
mm,
grasping energy. And that happens a lot with sometimes if you work with earth energies,
yeah,
places will be stuck in a certain time. And it's just because the energies don't want to let go, you
yeah,
know? So that's true as well. So I tried to create a character. I've never really met vampires, but I made a vampire that didn't want to let go, very
yeah.
possessive, and that's typical of a vampire. So yeah, I kept it very simple.
Sounds
Yeah.
beautiful. Let's say
Yeah.
written it down. Gonna buy it after this.
Okay.
Of course, we'll be sharing the link so everyone can figure out where it is. It's on Amazon, isn't it? So
Yeah, Amazon and Amazon UK too. And what it's
yeah,
actually it's worldwide. I distribute it worldwide.
yeah, that makes sense.
hmm And
Well,
one thing, Kevin, what that was real was the Sword of Truth. I
hmm,
actually did visit St. Patrick's Cathedral when I was younger, and
yeah,
um, recently, when I was doing some energy work with my friends from Glastonbury, St. Patrick's came up, and that's a chapter in the book. And I won't talk too much about it, but she does discover a sword of truth as one of her tools. And I resonated with the sword because that's almost like Sword in the Stone
mm,
or Saint Michael or Archangel Michael. Sometimes he not sometimes, he always has his sword. Um, I mean, sometimes it's a spear with the dragon energies, but I I thought it was really interesting that the sword of truth came in to wield or to work with the energies of the dragons.
mm, yeah. I love those
Yeah.
mystical tools. I was given a sword once when I was learning Rahani, celestial energy healing, and some maggot came
Yes.
in and was cutting cords with this sword. I was like, "That's a really cool sword." He's like, "Would you like one?" I was like, "Yeah, yes." And he gave me a smaller version of it, and then yeah, it's sort of in my magical collection for use in at times that it's needed. It's quite beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like we always think, oh, maybe it's gonna hurt somebody because then Catherine's like, I don't want to be in a battle, and I don't want to use this sword, and Arabella and or the I think it's Arabella. She says, no, it's to direct energies, to move energies around,
Mm.
and it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be used for cutting, does it? It's almost like a
Mm-mm.
magic wand almost.
hmm Yeah, and the
Cool.
story just kind of unfolded as I wrote it, just like a dream
Yeah.
would. And I didn't put too much of my other mind into it, so
Mm.
it kind of flows like a
Mm.
journal entry.
Sounds like a fun thing to read. Actually, and you earlier you were talking about the energy lines and all the rest of it, and we were talking about St. Michael's Mount, and obviously we've got Glastonbury and Avebury and all these powerful places in the UK, and there's many powerful places throughout the world. And we were talking beforehand sort of about sort of some of the energies of, say, Peru and places like that. So, what do you connect much to these energy lines? Some call them ley lines, some call them dragon lines. We've got the St Michael's line. Are you into those?
Yes. I started I started resonating with Stonehenge, of
Yeah.
course, but Avebury was really, really powerful. Um, and Hamish Miller wrote in his book about a 12-pointed star that he
Mm,
found, that like he kept dowsing, and then he doused an entire 12-pointed star at the opening of Avebury Temple, the Serpent Temple.
yeah.
And I'm a painter, and so I
Mhm.
went to art school. And when I had this vision one day of this 12-pointed star, so I painted it. It was like 5 feet by 5 feet, huge painting, white painting with gold leaf. I was doing gold leaf at the
Mhm.
time. And then later, when I found and connected to Glastonbury and Avebury, friends who were at the Henge shop,
Yeah.
I started connecting, and I started working with the energies there and doing meditations at solstice and equinoxes and just tuning in. And then after Hamish Miller, I wrote his book Sun and the Serpent, talking about the Michael and Mary line. He specifically drew, I think it was like Stukely's, the diagram of Avebury, and just how the dragon lines circle
Yeah.
around with the 12-pointed star. And then I realized that was the painting that I painted. And
Okay.
it was concentric circles that rippled out. And when I painted it, I felt like it was the imprint of I called it galactic signature. But I
Mm,
think that everybody has an energetic pattern to them. It's
mm,
sacred geometry. And I studied sacred geometry, and so I was expressing this star, and then the star is exactly the star that was the manifestation of these dragon energies. And it was that point that I knew, okay, I have to research the Michael and Mary line. So I did
mm.
the entire journey, studied it, and Spine of Albion, going up
Yeah.
and down, and just learning how these dragons are connected all along the points and all along the castles and the churches and the cathedrals. And it just kind of grew from there. But before that time, Kevin, I had no conscious. I was just conscious. I wasn't conscious of it. I was just
Yeah.
painting. But at that point, it all came together. I thought, okay, I'm really in tune with these dragon lines.
It's powerful. Yeah, and those lines. There's a friend of ours that has got the dowsing sticks, and we go on Dartmoor. We go on Dartmoor a lot, and the main dragon line, from St Michael line, runs through Dartmoor. And there's a place on there called the Nine Maids, and it was where the witches used to connect, and it's directly on the line. And he doesn't really believe in all of the dragons and the rest of it, but he understands there's energy lines. And we go there, and his dowsers are like,
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
I was like, I need to go inside it. So I asked permission to step inside. As I stepped inside, I could almost feel like as if you were standing in a river of energy. If there's any way
Mhm.
to describe it, if you stand in a river and it's
Yeah.
flowing fast, it tries to push you. And I stood in the middle. I was
Hmm.
like, "Wow, you can feel the energy." And he's like, "What?" And he goes with his sticks. It's like, "Oh yeah, look, you can see the edges of it." So it's it's so powerful. And we humans have to see things, don't we? But I always say to people, "We've got Wi-Fi. Can you see that?" Well, no. Well, this is like a Wi-Fi of the Earth. It's an easy way to describe it to people that don't believe.
Yeah,
It,
that's what it is. It's the communication. Like
yeah.
it's how the earth communicates all along with the points and the meridians, and how our bodies communicate with meridians. And that's, I think, what dragon lines are.
Yeah.
And at these certain points they're nodes. And I learned
Mm.
that with Hamish Miller and then Paul Broadhurst. And I think I think it's Brentmore. Is that what it's called? Brentmore or something Tor, near what you're talking about, the Nine Maidens. I was reading about that.
Yeah,
Like in,
Brentor.
is
Yeah,
that it? Yeah.
yeah, there's a church right on top of it. It's interesting that if you follow all of these ley lines and the powerful nodes, there's churches all over the place on them. And it's
Yeah.
like obviously the people that created the churches all those millennia ago and more recently that they must have understood the power lines somehow. They must
Oh,
have
they
done
did.
because there's loads of churches on lots of the lines. Or if
Yeah,
it wasn't churches, then it's the stone circles or the stone rows. So
that's right.
humanity knew, and we've, like you were saying earlier, we've lost contact with the earth. We many people live in cities, and those only that live in the countryside feel a bit more connected. But we have lost a lot of our connection with the earth,
Yeah.
haven't we?
And
And
the earth is still speaking, you
yeah,
know,
it's
still
shouting at us, and we're going, I
very,
don't hear
very
you.
chatty. Yep. We're like, oh, what's on Netflix? It's like
Yeah,
the earth is like over here. I have something very mysterious. And but well, the other thing is you have to go within. You have to meditate, and that's something. Once the meditation starts, the doors open because
mm,
everything is within, and I never understood that. Mm-mm.
yeah. So what's your take on meditation? Everyone's got a different take on meditation. What does the word meditation mean to you? If someone had never meditated, what would you say to them? How can they meditate to get to that point?
I think meditation is about stilling the mind,
Yeah.
and even when the mind runs and does its own thing, there is a point of stillness and um, connecting to the breath
Mm,
and just following the breath because the breath will lead you to places in awareness. I think our mind can go
yeah.
when we concentrate on the breath.
Yeah. Yeah. The breath's powerful. I love going to a place nearby. It's called the Zen Jungle, and the guy there's a shamanic practitioner, and he leads us on shamanic
Mm,
breath. And
I
it's
love
just the one
that.
where you breathe through your mouth for like half an hour and you get into a state where you just disappear somewhere. And I always have such
Hmm.
amazing visions and see things, and it's beautiful. You don't have to go quite as extreme as that. You can just follow your breath, can't you? Like a simple one I like is you breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, and then release gently for 4. Even just doing that over and over and over again, the fact that you're counting and concentrating, it quietens the mind, doesn't it? I find. And the other one is humming. I find if you hum a bit, like
Hmm.
it's very hard to think and hum. It's the
Hmm.
same as singing probably, and probably playing an instrument when you're in that place. Because for me, meditation doesn't have to be sitting still. It can be walking through your favorite woods, and I love doing
Hmm.
that and just listening to the birds. It's quieting the mind, not necessarily doing nothing. And I think a lot of people find doing nothing really hard. They
Hmm.
need like the Netflix, and need the radio on. So
Hmm.
yeah, I've done a 10-day meditation before, and if you can sit still for 10 days, then that was powerful. That was a Vipassana retreat, and that was I had a moment where I understood everything for like a millisecond. I knew that I was not me. I was part of everything. But as soon as
Yes.
I understood that I was not me, of course I lost it because I said me. But there was just this moment where it was like, we are, everything is one. Where there was like a million connections around this sort of globe of purple, and I was like, oh, that's it. And then there's, of course, because I said that's it, I individualized myself and I lost it. But I was like, wow, okay, I've had that moment of understanding we are a single thing here, experiencing billions and trillions of different lives.
I love that. Yes, it's the oneness, and then all of a sudden we identify with, and then we become the raindrop.
Yeah,
The
exactly. It's like,
I love it.
if
It's like,
you're a
no, I'm a
drop in the ocean,
cloud.
you're like, I am the ocean. Like, and then you realize,
Yeah,
no, actually, I'm a drop in the ocean.
yeah, yeah. And it's good because it constantly breathes, right? It's like micro to macro. We
Yeah,
become the macro, the micro, and that's the balance. And
yeah,
it's and it meditation is always movement forward. It's always evolving. I
Mm.
always think, okay, Anna, you're just becoming more aware,
Mm.
of more things to surrender,
Yeah.
and it's a constant evolution. And I don't ever say stop because that's resistance, and then resistance creates the tension. And if I say, "Oh, I know this," like I know what the dragons are going to say today, I'm not in a state of surrender, and there's always new information and always room to evolve and things like that. And so the what I'm saying is like if the energy is not moving forward, I know that I'm actually going I feel like I'm going backwards. I'm always
Yeah.
like a fish, like the barracuda fish,
Yeah.
they don't you start getting sucked towards the barracuda, but the barracuda stays the same. I always think about that when I'm in like the stream,
Yeah.
like, oh no, I gotta float away from the barracuda.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier. Things, time gets stuck, places get stuck, don't you? And we get stuck. I think it's probably because we know it, and our brains want to keep us in safety. So we often fight and don't want to. We don't want to follow the flow. We don't want to follow the change. We want to be like, well, where I am, I'm safe, so I'm staying here. I'm staying here.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And that's the density. Like
Mm.
when I meet a an energy on a dragon line, or even just sometimes a person, they're very tense and dense
Yeah.
energy. It's because they're just holding on, and
Yeah.
the dragons flow with like their water, or I mean there's many different kinds, but the
Yeah.
currents are always spiraling,
Yeah.
right? Like your artwork, like it's
Yeah.
when there's a spiral of energy, I know there's evolution, and that's what I think the dragons are really teaching me, is that I'm always evolving.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I often see this that the spiral of life. I sort of see it as is it's going around and round, but it's coming up, and what it does is it's almost like revisiting. But what here you were in pain with when you revisit it here, you're like, oh, I see the lesson. Yeah, and yeah,
Yes.
I find that the dragons they're always assisting me and saying this is a moment where pretend you're walking through hell, but pretend you own it and just keep walking. Don't get distracted, and then it's a lesson. It's a lesson. Yeah, it's it's hard to do though, isn't it? I think we're all a bit human. We want to get back to our safety zone. Where was it safe again? But
Oh
sometimes you've got to
yeah.
go through the pain, through the fire to get to the other
Yeah.
side and see it's like facing the fear, isn't it? Once you face the fear,
Yes.
you think, why was I even afraid of it? Because on the other
Yeah.
side is freedom, and not, and like
Yes.
you say, keep moving towards, let's call it freedom or spiritual
Uh-huh.
enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. It's the
Yeah.
case of keep moving because if you stop, well, you're not going anywhere, are you?
No, that's the surrender part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. And when we surrender what was, when we can spiral up to the higher
Mm.
consciousness, and then I literally can look at the past, or what I was afraid of, and the challenge with the new awareness. And
Yeah.
that's a gift. Those are, I did not make that up. That's all just the trajectory that my life has gone in. And I don't know how to pull people up and say, "Come on up here to this to the summit of the mountain. This is amazing." It's everyone has to do their own work, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just such a gift that the dragons started to connect to me, um and then hopefully I know that the dragon consciousness will connect to everybody, in their own time. They'll wake up to more and more.
Mm.
I think it's inevitable.
I think it is that was when the dragon first came to me, and I was confused and thought I was seeing things, and eventually met someone that was like, "Yeah, I work with dragons every day." I was like, oh, "Okay, now I get it." And then I went through a few things where they said, "Do this for us, do this for us." So I, like you, I did them, and bit by
Yeah.
bit they go, "Oh, this human's listening to us," and then they then start coming in and they get a bit excited, and there's like hundreds of them speaking to you like, I'm human, I can only listen to one of you at a time. I know you guys can all talk to each other at once, but bit by bit they expand your ability, don't they? I mean, if you said to me 10 years ago, I'd be talking about dragons, writing dragon books, talking to people about dragons, I'd be like, yeah, of course I would. Don't be silly, you know. And
Mm-mm.
and it's a slow progression, isn't it? And they assist you all the time for with little things like looking after your safety through to. I even say to people, ask your dragon to help you find a space when you're going into town, and I do that
Yeah,
through to
yeah,
give me full protection when I'm on a shamanic journey and I'm facing something that maybe isn't a nice energy, through to
yes,
healings and all the rest of it. So that,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I find that they deliver very precise instructions, and if
Hmm.
I follow them, it always leads me to a, a more expansive awareness
Yeah.
of whatever I'm going in, and this calm, this just totally this calm comes over me, and I'm
Mm.
more peaceful. And that's what I was saying earlier, how it's changed my way I interact with my environment, because I feel so much more secure
Mm.
that I am able to be just my being, my presence. I'm sharing my being with people instead of trying to force some kind of idea of a concept of myself, or I want it to go this way, because I trust that the dragons have my best interest, because we have a relationship now, because I honor them, they honor me.
Mm.
So I trust. But I, like I said, before 2017, I mean, I would just see a dragon on the wall of a cafe and be like, yeah, it's, or the Chinese dragon year, or I'm like, yeah, but it's a whole new meaning now. Like they're guiding me every day. And I think, Kevin, you were the first person that I found that even spoke about dragon eggs. I started birthing these dragon eggs 2021 or 2022, and then yeah, it just, nobody was talking about it. So it was I said, oh my God, this is such a gift. Because imagine you're evolving and nobody else on the planet knows what you're talking about. It's a very lonely place.
It's true.
Yeah,
That was one of the things that Dragon said to me, what, 3.5 years ago, is that there's a lot of people out there that are talking about dragons, but the, we've got the Dragon Council, but you haven't got your Dragon Council on the Earth. And they were like, you need to create something. And that's why I created Dragon Thunder and asked lots of speakers to come in, and there's now like 30, 40 speakers each year. And it's
I love
beautiful
it.
because there's a community out there. There's now, I listed the other day, there's now 80 people that I talk to that are talking and sharing about dragons all the time. Most
I
of
love
it's
it.
Europe or America or Canada. There's only one sort of in the sort of the East, so much so that they don't, they're, yeah, it's a shame, but I'm sure that will come. And there is like
Yeah.
a grid work of humans that are, I'm sure we've all been placed in a certain way on purpose. It was our soul journey, and the dragon's like, right, when they're ready to be awake, we'll connect with them and we'll build this community and we'll build whatever it is that they're going to help us with. I mean, they've been here since the beginning and they understand us and our limitations. And I just feel that they're assisting us. Everyone talks about the new earth and the rest of it. And I think all we're doing is raising our human frequency, and the dragons are sort of pulling us up. A bit like you were saying, trying to bring people up. It's hard to do. All they can do is come in and assist us so that we do it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the reason why I wanted to contribute this book to the literary world is to plant a seed for the next generation if they start waking up, having gifts like I did in America or in New York City,
Mm.
versus if you were in England, where thank God that it's so accepted in your culture, and then also Chinese, Japanese, and all the other, and even Australia,
Yeah.
all over the world. And so that was one of my desires, or one of my wishes, is to integrate it into American culture, as
Mm.
and if it does, it does. If it doesn't, I sang my song, and and there you go. I'm not trying to change people, but I'm leaving a seed. Hopefully, it'll grow into a tree and say, hey. this pathway is for real, and there's
Mm.
a whole country full of people that understand. you know.
That's all you can do at times, isn't it? As somebody said, you've planted the seed, and if one person sees it, then there's your mission. You've done it. So if that then one person then gets another one person, and then it just
Mhm.
it spreads, doesn't it? So yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes we're all like, oh I want my book to be a top seller, and I want it to be on all the bookstores all around the. It happens to a few of us, and unless you've written it, then it's not going to happen. And it's great that you've written it, so they're definitely on my list to purchase once I get off of here. So
Yeah.
we're going to
Thanks.
wrap up here, but is there anything that you would like to share with the listeners?
Um, I I think I would love for everyone to stay inspired and
Mm.
open to new adventures,
Yeah.
in especially meditation, going within, and even walking amongst the trees. A magical interaction could happen with the dragon, or um, hopefully there's just more hope, I think, for awareness, and then connecting with the earth,
Mm.
having conversations in a new way, not in the old way, and finding your own path, like finding your own style,
Mm.
your own tree. That's how this all birthed. That's how it all came to me. So hopefully we'll go towards you. That's my message, I think.
It's a beautiful message. Be beautiful speaking to you. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll be sharing all your links, and I'll be sharing where the book is, and I'll be sharing that where your blog is, your memories and visions. So it's beautiful. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Kevin. Thank you.